Part A says, where does revenue equal cost? So this is revenue equal cost. I get rid of my parentheses, multiply through by x. You get this line here. This is a quadratic because your highest exponent is 2. Before you can solve this, you have to get 0 on one side. So I moved everything to the right side. I added a 5x squared to both sides, and I subtracted a 94.8x from both sides. I did that so my leading coefficient would be positive. So use the quadratic formula with a equal 5, b is negative 75.1, and 156. I plugged it in. I didn't show all my steps, but you end up getting these two answers. So I'm going to end up calling this 2 and this 13 just to save some time. So that is part A. Now, part B says revenue is greater than cost. This is revenue greater than cost. Here, I got rid of my parentheses. I multiplied through by x. When I have quadratic inequalities, I always want 0 on the right. So I moved everything to the left-hand side. That gave me a negative 5x squared. And for quadratics, I like my leading coefficient, the number on your x squared, to be positive. So I multiply through by -1. And that, of course, when you multiply an inequality by a negative number, you have to flip your inequality symbol. So this is my standard form, this line right here. So I put my critical numbers, 2 and 13, on my number line. And I want to say this one has a domain is 1 to 15. That's given in the work. So this thing starts at 1. Anyway, I've got 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. Let's check them. So if I get my calculator out, and if I plug 1.5 store in x into this line here, 5x squared minus 75.1x, 75.1x plus 156. Okay, I plugged in a 1.5, so I'm testing this interval here. I got a positive number. And you can check your other intervals, like maybe plug in a 5 or 10, but it ends up, this is negative and this is positive. So look back at your standard form. This is your standard form, and you want numbers that are less than 0. That means you want negative numbers. And your negative numbers are here. So in interval notation, that would be 2 up to 13. Okay? And the last one is R is less than C. So I set this inequality up. The first 2 or 3 lines, the very same thing. Once again, on this one, I want my leading coefficient to be positive, so I multiply both sides by -1. That gave me this. And I put my critical numbers on here. And of course, they're going to be the same. This is going to be plus, minus, plus. But this time we want numbers that are greater than 0. And this starts at 1. Units is 1. So where is it greater than 0? It means positive. It's here and here. So that would be include a 1, because if you read the problem, 1 is included. The domain for both is 1 to 15. So that's going to be 1 to 2, or 2.49, whatever. Union 13. And it's not going to go to negative infinity because you've got that domain given 1 to 15. So it's going to go to 15 with the endpoint.